אני זוכר את בית הערבה.
The Arava Valley is a dry, windy and saline stretch of desert that embraces the Jordan River both in the south of Israel and in Jordan. It is in the Israeli side of the valley that we find the Arava Institute, an academic center devoted to environmental research. Founded in 1996, its projects are based on the premise that nature knows no borders. Hence, their students are a mix of Israelis, Palestinians and Jordanians, who overcome their political differences to better the region's environment. 26-year-old Fadi, for example, is a Jordanian engineer who stumbled upon the Arava Institute online.
Being an engineer, I have the access to see the environment impact for the oil gas project. So I think I start to think that I should do something for the world to make it more healthy for the next generation.
There are between 40 and 50 students per semester, about a fifth of which are Jordanian and Palestinian. The professional bravery of these Arab students cannot be underestimated. Back in Jordan, most of Fadi's connections think he's currently in Cyprus, because if word got out that he's studying in Israel, he fears he could be expelled from his union and possibly lose his job.
I had never thought that I will live with an Israeli, because only we hear in the media that they are killing each other in Israel and Palestine. We don't know who's right, who's wrong, who's to blame. And honestly, I had never thought that I would come here. But it's a really amazing experience. I start to learn how do they think, what do they thought, and I was amazed and surprised how much do they know about the conflict and they're seeking for the peace.
However, having environmental issues as a common ground isn't always enough for students from rival countries to feel entirely comfortable together. That is why the Arava Institute created the PEBS, or Peace Building Seminar. Kate Cohen, who came to study at Arava in 2007 from the US and is now a member of staff, explains.
The activities really vary. Some things are discussing historical events, for example, talking about the multiple narratives of Israeli Independence Day and the Nakba, or the catastrophe of the Palestinian people, and trying to talk about and understand that there are two really different stories about that period of time and that they can both be true for the people that they're true for.
Once the political differences are overcome, it's easier for the students to set about addressing the region's environmental problems. The Institute's grounds are strewn with inventions and contraptions in various phases of completion. In one spot, they have erected 2 mud huts, imitating the African and Iranian styles, alongside a wooden shack, much like the ones put together in slums or refugee camps. The Institute is trying to rig these buildings up with alternative energy, thanks to various nifty inventions, such as a stove that runs on biogas, or, as the Director of Development Elisa Mayo shows me, a solar-powered oven.
What happens is it's 2 glass tubes, and the vacuum in between them becomes heated, and you can bake in it. It even smells like cookies in here right now.
I was about to say, it's like a bakery.
I swear she must be baking in here. Isn't that crazy? Sometimes she brings us cookies to the office.
By she, Mayo meant the research park director Tal Holtzman, who we came across a while later.
We were in the urban building in the hub, and the solar vacuum tubes smelled like cookies.
Yes, because
So
they were
how did you
just...
know what you were baking?
It was cookies.
What kind?
Okay, there are 2 recipes. One is for vegans, and the other one is regular cookies with chocolate chips. So that's what we were cooking. But today it's not a day with sun, and still the temperature inside was almost 120 degrees inside the vacuum tubes.
Further on, we find a series of water filtration tanks where they are working on a method for equipping off-grid Bedouin and Palestinian towns with grey water systems, so that they can recycle their used water for agricultural irrigation.
And what you see here is one of the first 2 prototypes of the system. Each tank has got gravel that filters grey water, which is inflow from showers, sinks, laundry, or kitchen. You can have as many or as few of these units as you need, given what the engineers decide is necessary for your household size or neighborhood size. And so since this is taking the entire southern side of our dorms, we have here 6 filtration tanks, and they water the trees that are in this nearby area.
Next to the Institute's HQ stands Methuselah, a 9,000-year-old date tree that was recently sprouted from a handful of ancient seeds found in clay pots during excavations in Masada. Methuselah was brought to life by Elaine Soloway, whose work spans from propagating endangered plant species to finding suitable crops for arid lands. Thanks to Methuselah, she now counts with a reputation for being able to sprout a hard seed.
I feel like, in a sense, that I'm sort of doing treasure hunting sometimes. And as far as doing treasure hunting in the past, certainly having a tree like this come back from the dead is probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened to me professionally.
However, much to the Institute's chagrin, date trees are either male or female, and thus the ancient Methuselah for now remains a bachelor.
We just hope we can find a female and start growing the dates that people were growing at the time of the Bible, the time of the Romans. The Romans didn't find anything nice about Jews or what they did, but they liked the dates. The Roman emperors ordered them for their tables, so if we can get this date back, this type, we might have something very nice in it.
An institute that sprouted a 9,000-year-old plant and that brings Israelis, Palestinians and Jordanians to work together sounds like the ideal place for incorporating an ancient fruit back into the market. This is Paul Sanchez reporting for TLV1.